That's WVToughman.com.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
More live and local programming than anyone else in the Ohio Valley. The Watchdog returns in moments.
Hello, everyone, from the Watchdog. I'm the storm tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Friday. Mostly cloudy with a light snow shower in the forecast. A cold day with a high near 28 degrees. Overnight low of 8 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Partly to mostly sunny for your Saturday with highs in the low to mid-20s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Live from the Robinson Auto Group studios, this is the Valley's longest-running morning show, the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe from WKKX and WVLY.
27 degrees, Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, 26 degrees at my home studios, and 26 at the Robinson Auto Group studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Snow showers continuing around the upper Ohio Valley, had anywhere from half an inch to an inch overnight last night. Probably going to get a little bit more. Aaron says an additional inch perhaps during the morning hours today as the snow continues. It'll turn to just flurries and flakes in the afternoon. Temperature where we are is about where we're going to be. Might bump up a teeny bit, bump down a teeny bit, but basically 27. Predicted high 27 is where we are right now. Good news is today's the snow day, and then the weekend looks like it's going to be pretty snow-free. So that's what you have to look forward to weather-wise. It is 8:10 in the morning here on the Watchdog Morning Show. We talked last hour with Hoppy Kercheval about Governor Justice's State of the State speech last night. There was a lot of chest thumping and cheerleading, a couple of new proposals from the governor, and then finally, baby dog's butt concluded the speech. Hoppy and I kicked that around in the last hour. Coming up in a couple of minutes, we'll talk about the speech with Delegate Mike Pushkin from Kanawha County, who was just this week elected West Virginia State Democratic Party Vice Chair. We'll talk about the state of the state, the current legislative session, politics, the Build Back Better bill, and more. It's officially bye-bye Big Ben. Ben Roethlisberger officially retired yesterday. Bill DeFabio came off his hospital bed to join us to talk about it this morning. We heard that last hour. Bill will have more comment and commentary coming up in the next hour of the show. Newspaper editor John McCabe and I have the Friday Roundtable. We'll discuss some of the week's big stories. And I made my own McDonald's surf and turf sandwich yesterday. We had talked about these menu hacks McDonald's is suggesting. One of them is their own surf and turf sandwich. And thanks to Brother Biff. Biff said, you want to just go make one yourself? I thought, son of a gun, I think I will. So I made my own surf and turf yesterday, Biff, on your recommendation. And I'll have my review of that coming up a little bit later on this morning. So that's what I have to offer you. What do you have to offer me? 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600, the Watchdog Radio Morning Show text line, or you can call me at 304-232-8255, the CityNet hotline. Let's go down to Charleston, get an update on what's happening at the legislature. By the way, Jeff Jenkins normally does these, Biffy, but Jeff has COVID now. Hoppy came off the COVID quarantine. Jeff Jenkins went on. So here's our morning Capitol report without Jeff Jenkins from Metro News.
This is the Metro News Capitol Report.
Okay, I guess I'll go right to him after this. Thanks. Correct. So we can catch up on spots next half hour. Okay. I must say, I have been impressed and surprised at how vocal Owens Brown has been. I've known Owens for years, and he has strong opinions, but first-time senator, just appointed, not even elected. I mean, he's really been making his points and making himself quite well known down in Charleston. He's been the sole or one of a very few negative votes on a couple of issues, and I've been both impressed and somewhat surprised at how Owens has taken to this appointment that he's got, and he has chosen to run for the full-time appointment as well. It's the position that was held by Bill Ehlenfeld for the last couple of years before Bill went back to the federal prosecutor's office. All right, it's 8:16, 16 after the hour, cold morning, 27 at the airport, 26 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Let's talk to Delegate Mike Pushkin this morning. Mike, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me back on.
So let me ask you, I want to get into a whole lot of things with you here, but state of the state, it really wasn't state of the state because that's a technical term reserved for the address at the beginning of the session, but the speech the governor gave last night to the session, what are your reaction? What's your thought?
Well, everybody likes, the folksy colloquialisms and, everybody, loves baby dog and everything. But if you really just get down to, the nuts and bolts of the speech, there wasn't really much there. Usually in the State of the State address, we hear the governor will lay out their agenda for the upcoming session, talk about initiatives they want to get done. I really didn't hear much of that at all. Now, just like everyone else, I was very happy to celebrate these two big announcements that came right at the beginning of the session, whether it was this green steel mill over in Mason County and possibly one up a little closer to you. That's a possibility down the line. And then, of course, here in Kanawha County, we're really excited about these electric school buses that are going to be built here. Their only plant, in the eastern United States is going to be right here in Kanawha County. We're very excited about that, but, let's be honest about it, and I'll give credit where credit's due. The governor, his staff, the economic development team, they did a great job. The county officials here in Kanawha County, our county commission, and the county commissioners over in Mason County, they've done a great job at making these businesses feel welcome. But the public investment is coming from the American Rescue Plan. And while the governor got up there and got political and took swipes at the president, which were really unnecessary in the state of the state, he should be a little bit more grateful because it's President Biden and Democrats in Congress that sent us that money to make this investment with. And that's the guy's honest truth.
That was something that struck me as I was watching it. Was he was very critical, in, at least once directly and several times indirectly, of President Biden and sort of the Democrats on Capitol Hill, if you will. And yet,
should be saying thank you,
several of the projects he talks about are only possible, including a good bit of the budget that you have put together, because of the money that comes from those people.
It's exactly right. The American Rescue Plan passed without a single Republican vote, and that's the money that they're able to shift around. Of course, they take the money out of one department and they put it over into the economic development office for this infrastructure investment. But then they're backfilling it with the American Rescue Plan. So the money is coming from the American Rescue Plan that was brought to you by the Democrats in Washington that he was so critical of. And then with the electric buses that we're building here in Kanawha County, a lot of the incentives for that, like $5 billion in incentives, is in the infrastructure bill. That I think the only one of our only representative that voted for that was your congressman up there, McKinley. Alex Mooney and Carol Miller voted against it. Well, that's what the incentive that's creating a company that builds electric buses to expand and to put a facility in West Virginia that could possibly lead to 900 good jobs with benefits. That's because of the infrastructure bill. And I remember.
It's also interesting to me that both of these projects. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, our former president, Trump, how many infrastructure weeks did he have? He couldn't pass the bill. So let's give credit where credit's due. And there's plenty of credit to go around when things are going right. And I didn't think it was right to take swipes at folks who are also helping us.
I thought so too. I also found it interesting. The governor took some time to single out the issue of the border. And I noticed that Attorney General Morrissey says he's going to go to the border and discuss border issues. And I keep thinking to myself, I mean, no matter how you feel about border immigration, what have you, how are these big issues in West Virginia? The governor.
I'll tell you how I feel about it. I mean, of course we should have a secure border. Yeah, and of course it's an issue, and of course we want to cut down on illegal drugs coming across the border. It's been going on since both of our lifetimes. This has been going on. But in West Virginia, we're one of two states that has lost population over the past 10 years. So I don't think that it's really an issue in West Virginia. We got people, leaving. They're going the opposite direction from our borders right now. So I think I'd like to focus on West Virginia issues, try to make this a better place, make it a more attractive place for people to legally move to. But no, I don't think that's our most pressing issue here in West Virginia.
Talking to Delegate Mike Pushkin this morning here on the Watchdog Morning Show. You were elected this week vice chair of the state Democratic Party. I don't know whether to say congratulations on that or not, because the party has got a lot of work.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying you got a lot of work to do, that's for sure.
Yeah, we have a lot of work to do, and that's why I put my name on the ballot to run for vice chair. I want to do the work. I realize it's a volunteer gig. It's one of the toughest jobs there are right now, going to be the vice chair of the Democratic Party here in West Virginia. But anybody can jump in and coach the Lakers when they have all the best players, or the Bulls when they had all the best players. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm gonna root for the underdog, and I want to get in there. And we're having a good couple of weeks talking to some really potentially great candidates up and down the ballot. We're going to really focus on down ballot races and try to help this legislature more reflect more the people of West Virginia and have it not so one-sided. And that's just going to be better for everybody.
Let me tell you, as a Democrat,
what's that?
As a Democrat, one thing that's been concerning me is watching the filings at the Secretary of State's office, and frankly, the lack of Democrat filings in several, I think, key areas. Democrats used to control this state, and maybe Democrats had too much power. I'm not going to have that argument, people. But boy, there's almost no bench strength. I mean, you're vice chairing a party that has darn little bench strength right now.
Well,
And
that's
we're
what
seeing it in the
gonna focus
filings
on.
of who's running for office.
Well, we still got a couple more days, and I'd have talked to some folks that are planning on filing. You'll see more, and I think in our key areas where we really can be competitive, those slots are going to be filled, and we're going to have more of a focus on outreach and some help for our down ballot candidates, and I feel pretty good about it.
The vote that was taken by the Democratic Party this week at the same meeting you were elected vice chair, to me was extremely interesting. It essentially was an endorsement of the Build Back Better bill. We have spent a huge amount of time on this show talking about it. But so the state Democratic Party endorses Build Back Better, and we can talk about that, you and I, in a second. But you endorse it, and yet the titular leader of your party, Joe Manchin, really isn't on board with it. I mean, it's a strange endorsement you had there, and a lot of people feel that Manchin is kind of the puppet master of the party as well. So that was a very strange vote to me.
Oh, I think we took a vote, and it was I think it was unanimous of the members of our executive committee. We support much of what is in that bill because we feel, and this isn't about personalities or our friendship. A lot of us are friends with Senator Manchin. We consider him a good friend. This isn't about that. It's about the actual policy that's in that bill we feel will be very beneficial for West Virginians. Whether you're talking about allowing Medicare to negotiate lower drug prices for seniors, or whether you're talking about some of the incentives for some of these green jobs that we're already seeing, some that came to us through the American Rescue Plan and through the infrastructure bill. We're already seeing the benefits. There's more to come that's in Build Back Better, which is really the second half of the infrastructure bill, and of course the extension of child tax credits. I think our senator has said that he would like to see it more narrowly tailored to help who it really needs to help. I don't disagree with that, but we have a state that has so many children growing up in poverty. And what we hear time and time again is one of the leading causes of all these negative outcomes in public health, whether it's drug addiction, overdose deaths, all these unhealthy outcomes we have. One of the leading determinants of that are adverse childhood experiences, because we have so many kids growing up in utter poverty. What is one proven way we got right now to lift these children out of poverty? It's helping the parents out a little bit with this child tax credit. So yeah, if we want to go back and make it more narrowly focused, that's fine. But I think it's time to get back to the table on this and try to work something out. And I have faith that we'll be able to do something. So I think it's more of a positive affirmation saying that your friends here in West Virginia, we support this, and we hope you get back to work and work out a good compromise.
What's interesting to me, and my audience has heard me say this over and over again, on that child care tax credit, since the time it went into effect 18 months ago, whenever it was, the actual monthly payments that the families are getting, we have quantifiable evidence it has helped to move people, if not out of poverty, certainly begin the trek out of poverty. I mean, there's data out there that says the child care tax credit has been a huge financial asset to lower and middle income families trying their best to get out of the troubles they're in. Given that we know it works, it's amazing that we're not willing to move forward to keep on letting it work.
Well, I'm going to remain optimistic because I know that it works. The numbers are there. So rare do you have a policy out there that you can back up with this kind of data and actually show real life examples of how it's working. Now, Senator Manchin has expressed, rightfully so, has expressed some concerns about driving up inflation and how are we going to pay for it. And those are legitimate questions. And that's why so many Americans and so many people in West Virginia, when asked the question, if we could pay for it with a tax that actually no West Virginians would actually pay, a billionaire income tax that's aimed at only the wealthiest 0.02% of Americans. Unfortunately, not a single one of these folks live in West Virginia. Not Jim Justice, not even Baby Dog. They're not billionaires anymore. But this would make a more fair tax structure that would tax folks based on some of their investments annually, instead of just allowing them to take out these low-interest loans against these investments and really skirting their fair share of the income tax. I think, it's like 70% of Americans would support this. And I know a lot of folks in West Virginia would support it because it would only help them. It won't tax any of them.
But the truth of the matter is that I don't see a lot of movement on Senator Manchin's part. Maybe you are closer to him. Maybe you have a better feel for it. I think he's pretty well made his opinion known. And while, yes, he has said there are things that perhaps if they were changed, more means testing, for example, and so on. But I don't know. Changing Joe Manchin's mind on this at this stage of the game strikes me as a very steep mountain for y'all to try to climb.
Well, he has expressed support for allowing Medicare to negotiate lower drug prices. I think there's so many folks in West Virginia that could benefit from that, and he has expressed interest in some of the incentives for green energy jobs, some of which we're already getting here in West Virginia. And he said if we do have a more narrowly focused child tax credit, that's something else he could support. He's also said that he could support a change, and something he seems very interested in is a change in the tax structure, so it would be paid for by the wealthiest folks in America, the Jeff Bezos, the Elon Musks of the country would be paying their fair share because we actually tax them based on their investments and not, allowing them to take out these low-interest loans against these investments and not pay their income tax. He's expressed interest in that. So I'm still optimistic, and I'm still going to keep pushing for this because I know that it'll help so many folks, especially here in West Virginia. And like we said before, not a single West Virginian is going to pay for it.
Before I let you go, quick assessment of how the session has gone so far?
Well, the session has been surprisingly mellow. We
It's a great word to use. I agree.
Nonstop, culture war issues is what we're expecting. But it seems like they're holding back on that until after the filing deadline. So if anyone out there is thinking about the filing deadline is Saturday night at midnight. I think next week after that filing deadline, I hate to say it, I think the floodgates might be open. You're going to see a whole lot of bills, really, in my opinion, that are absolutely about nothing. They're just based on whatever's popular on Fox News after 7 o'clock, and they actually don't help anybody except certain folks get reelected. So I'd like to, work on real issues, expanding access to health care, working on a real meaningful pay increase for our state employees, and adding a cost of living adjustment for our seniors that we haven't done in a long time. I'd like to focus on real issues that actually help people. I think these hot button topic of the day on Fox News issues, they do nothing for nobody.
I love the word you use, mellow, because I've been talking to, I talked to Stephen Baldwin, I've talked to some of the delegates, some of our local guys, the reporters, Stephen Adams, Brad McElhenney, and others. We talk on the show all the time. And every time I talk, I say, the session feels weird to me. I'm not quite sure what exactly, but it just doesn't feel normal to me. And you may have hit the phrase on the head. It's more mellow. It doesn't seem to have a freneticism to it that I usually sense. But maybe you're right. Maybe let's wait until the filing deadline passes, then we can unleash all this stuff.
I'm afraid I might be right. So far, Howard, we've had more receptions than committee meetings. There hasn't been a lot going on. One thing that I've really been concerned about is, we have one of the worst drug problems in the country. One of the highest overdose rates, highest rates of addiction to opioids and other drugs. We have a select committee for the prevention and treatment of substance abuse. The committee hasn't met yet. That's something that was really left out of the governor's address last night. Didn't really go into any detail about any really sound drug policy, except taking a swipe at Biden about the border or whatever. And he failed to mention not even one word about one of the byproducts of this drug problem that has wreaked havoc on the Mountain State, that we have 7,000 kids in the foster care system. That's a crisis. And the governor chose to ignore it last night. And instead, showed everybody his dog's butt.
It's, well, we'll see what happens. You may be right. After the deadline is come and gone, and people can file, even as if it's postmarked by Saturday, so there may be some stragglers coming in on Monday or Tuesday as well.
Yeah.
We'll see what it looks like.
Keep the faith. We're going to
Delegate Pushkin, I appreciate your time this morning. We need to keep in touch more often during the session, so I'm going to.
Hey, I'd love to come on. Yeah, anytime. Thank you.
Touch base with you more frequently. I appreciate you dropping by today, though.
Thank you so much for having me on.
All right, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Kanawha County Delegate Mike Pushkin, who is now the vice chair of the Democratic Party in West Virginia, elected as such this week. So he brings the party perspective, he brings the delegate perspective to our show, and glad we had a chance to talk to him today. And I suspect, Biffy, we need to get him in the rotation to be with us on a more frequent basis, because I think he had a lot of good perspective. And he may have hit the nail on the head. I've been following and McCabe and I will talk about this next hour. I've been following the election filings, and boy, I tell you what, a lot of holes on the Democrat side of things. And in here, the local area, there are a couple that I don't see any filings for yet. So maybe everybody's keeping their powder dry until after Saturday, which is the end of the filings for the upcoming primary election. We'll see. 8:35, 25 till the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Next hour, Mr. McCabe and I will kick around the State of the State speech, some of the things going on in the legislature, Ohio Valley headlines for you. That's all on the Friday roundtable in the third hour, next hour. Coming up in the next half hour, let's just loosen our belts. I'm drinking Dr. Pepper. Get yourself a can of Dr. Pepper or your morning orange juice, and we'll hit the Friday funnies. Coming up, but first let's check headlines from the Big 7, WTRF TV, and Tony is here with the Morning Mountaineer Report.
Now it's time for your local news headlines from...
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see anything last night. I think I'll just use Carlin and the late night, the late night guys. The late night comedy shows. So we'll do the late night shows, we'll do Carlin, then we'll do entertainment. And if you want me to break that up with a spot break so we don't have to run all the spots at one time, I can do that if you want me to, too. Okay. Whatever works for you. Okay. We can do that. Yep, that works for me. Yeah, I talked to him yesterday afternoon, and he said he would, so we shall see. He had something in particular he wanted to talk about. Oh, he said there have been some F. Biden signs showing up around local schools when he wanted to complain about that. I haven't seen them, but I think that's wildly inappropriate if it's true. I need to come up with some kind of an intro for the Friday Funnies, Biff. If you can think of something over the next week or two, let me know. Oh, that's what I'm thinking, actually. I may have commercials by the, or Simpson, because Simpson can do, commercials by the doesn't have to be dry. Simpson can produce it, so I'm thinking maybe he could produce something with a little, I can picture some laughter in the background or something. I'll have to see. That's a good idea, I think. Right. Yep. Right. I think when we come back, I'm going to talk about the McDonald's surf and turf that I made yesterday, because I see that is one of the subjects of the late night comedy. So I'll do the McDonald's surf and turf, and then we'll do late night comedy, and then Carlin, and then the entertainment stuff afterwards. Yeah.
To 55. This is an extremely balanced Arkansas team. 6 players average 9 or more points, but they do have one star. That is J.D. Note. He leads the team, averaging 19 points per game. He also has 5 rebounds. He's hit a team-high 43 three-pointers, and he is a shoo-in for a first-team All-SEC selection. Defensively, they will guard you well. They average 78 points per game, and it will be a difficult environment for WVU. By the way, just the second ever meeting between these two schools. When this one is over, West Virginia stays on the road, heads to Waco, Texas. On Monday night, they'll have their second regular season encounter against the defending national champion, Baylor Bears. Tip-off tomorrow is 2. Pregame here begins at 1. That is today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from Learfield.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy all types of real estate completely as is. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Attorney Tom McIntyre.
Life. It may knock you down, but you don't have to say that way. I'm Tom McIntyre. I'm a bankruptcy attorney, and I'm here to help you. Give us a call, and we'll send you a copy of my free book, When Bad Things Happen to Good People. It's an interesting read, and it'll explain bankruptcy to you like no other book does. Give us a call. We're here to help.
Call Thomas E. McIntyre and Associates at 304-232-8600. Allow us to help put you back on the road to financial success.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the watchdog trusts.
The new year is here, and so are the new Toyotas. So visit your dealer and reserve yours today. Like the all-new Tundra, redesigned from the ground up and engineered for uncompromising power. Or explore the brand new Corolla Cross with available all-wheel drive and more cargo room than ever. Visit your Toyota dealer today or go online to buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals. Hurry, offers end January 31st. Toyota, let's go places.
Are you or your loved ones facing a serious legal battle? The law office of Paul Harris wants you to know you aren't alone. Do you need someone that's not afraid to go to trial and fight for your rights? Attorney Paul Harris and his team are willing to go where most firms are not. The courtroom. With a successful track record in civil litigation, criminal defense, including tax issues and healthcare fraud, Harris Law Office will fight for their clients by offering the most aggressive representation in and out of court. Call Paul Harris at Harris Law Office for a free consultation. 304-232-5300.
Babies come with lots of decisions.
Cloth or disposable? Crib or bassinet?
So when it comes to protection, Go with the safest, most effective choice, vaccination. Get all the recommended vaccines for your baby by age 2 to protect your child against 14 serious childhood diseases. For more reasons to vaccinate, talk to your child's doctor. Go to cdc.gov/vaccines or call 800-CDC-INFO. A message from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Follow us on Facebook for the latest news, show updates, podcasts, alerts, and live video streams from the Valley's only network dedicated to local, community-driven talk radio, The Watchdog.
Live and local for the Ohio Valley, the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
27 at the airport, 26 at the home studios, 26 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios, downtown Wheeling, in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Thanks to those of you watching us on our video feed. Keep in mind, the easiest and simplest way to watch the video feed is at our website, watchdognetwork.com. Check out watchdognetwork.com. Video feed lives right there. You can also watch the video feed on my Facebook page. I'd like to tell you you can watch it on the Watchdogs Facebook page, but you got problems with that. So just at least check the video feed out on my Facebook page, also on watchdognetwork.com, or on the Watchdogs YouTube channel. Yesterday, we talked, Biffy, you'll remember, about McDonald's menu hacks. They're doing 4 new menu hacks that they're going to be offering for a limited time. I don't know that they're being offered around here, but these are 4 things that you can order, very different from the typical menu. And as it turns out, it's a make-your-own thing. That you place this order, and they'll give you the components, and you make them yourselves. Among the 4, the hash brown. I think that you and I both agreed that all of them are worth a try. One was the hash brown McMuffin, a sausage McMuffin with hash brown inside. That works for me, I think, right?
Yeah, me too.
The crunchy double cheeseburger with a layer of McNuggets at the bottom, drizzled with barbecue sauce. I try it. I think that's kind of going to be hard to eat because the McNuggets, but I'm okay with that. The Land, Air, and Sea, a Big Mac with 2 burger patties, like usual for the Big Mac. But then you throw in a fillet of fish and a McChicken patty, and it becomes the Land, Air, and Sea. And then what they call the surf and turf. A double cheeseburger, fillet of fish patty added in. So I decided yesterday, on the recommendation of Brother Biff, to try the surf and turf. So got a double cheeseburger from McDonald's and got a fillet of fish. And I took the fillet of fish out of its own bun and put it inside the double cheeseburger bun. And by the way, I had a McChicken on the side. And I thought about going for the Land, Air, and Sea by putting a McChicken in there as well. But that just seemed like literally too much food. I know it's hard to believe that I said too much food, but that just seemed like too much. So I saved the chicken patty, McChicken, and had it by itself. So I made the double cheeseburger, put the fish patty on it. It's the surf and turf. Biff?
Yeah?
It was good.
Really?
I mean, absolutely it was good. Perfect mixing of flavors. Really impressed with it. I may start doing this anyways. Again, even if they don't sell them as a menu hack, just get a fillet of fish, get a double cheeseburger. They're both on the inexpensive menu side. I don't forget what they cost. I don't think they have a $1 menu anymore, but they're both on the very inexpensive menu side. Get a double cheeseburger, get the fillet of fish, just take the patty, put it in. I make sure the tartar sauce came along with it, so it's got the tartar sauce on it. Yeah, baby. Yeah, I really liked it. You should give it a try, Biffy.
Might have to.
The surf and turf. Now, again, the next step up they have called the Land, Air, and Sea. Instead of a double cheeseburger, it's a Big Mac, so you got the extra special sauce and that kind of stuff. 2 burger patties, and then you put a fillet of fish in there, and a McChicken patty. you know, I might give that a try today too. I was so impressed with the surf and turf, just the fillet of fish with the double cheeseburger. I don't know. Maybe I'll try the land, air, and sea. I don't know. Actually, these McDonald menu hacks are part of the Friday Funnies today. It's one of the things that the late night comedians were laughing about last night.
Some business news. Bud Light just announced that they're releasing Bud Light Next, a zero-carb beer that they spent nearly 10 years trying to make. 10 years. Wow, somehow it took a few months for the Pfizer vaccine, but 10 years for Bud Light Next.
McDonald's is set to begin selling a new item consisting of a chicken sandwich, Big Mac, and filet of fish, all in one bun, called Land, Air, and Sea, as opposed to its original name, Bathroom Hospital Cemetery. In honor of the park's 30th anniversary and Women's History Month in March, Disneyland Paris announced yesterday that Minnie Mouse will wear a dark blue and black polka-dotted pantsuit designed by Stella McCartney. Unfortunately, that still won't make up for the fact that you brought your wife to Paris and then took her to Disneyland.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And he's making fun of that land, air, and sea, Biff. I think it sounds good. It does sound like a lot of food. Big Mac, McChicken, and filet of fish. If I were to say I don't know if my mouth is big enough for it, somebody will text me and say, I don't know, Monroe, you're a pretty big mouth. But that's part of my concern there. Well, while we're in the Friday Funnies here, let's do some comedy. One of my favorite comics of all time, is George Carlin. Going back to his early days as the hippy-dippy weatherman and his later career where he became much more of a political commentator, pundit, comedian. He always was sort of a did you ever wonder about kind of guy. Let's get some Friday funny comedy in from George Carlin this morning.
People who pay for inexpensive items with a credit card. You know, folks, take my word for this. Raisinets is not a major purchase. Get some cash together. No one should be paying a bank 18% interest on Tic Tacs. There are some more men who ought to be strapped to a gurney and castrated with fishing knives. White guys who shave their heads completely bald. You know? They're so ashamed they lost 11 hairs, they're going to try to turn it into some kind of a masculine statement. I say, hey, you goofy-looking, baldy-headed looks good on black guys. On you, it's ugly, repulsive, and disgusting. You want to be bald? Do what I did. Wait a while.
George Carlin, I do find him one of the funniest guys around. Again, his comedy career, his comedy style really transformed. If you watched him early on, as I did, when he first began with the hippy-dippy weatherman and so on, and I had that. I didn't give it to Biff to play today. I should do that maybe next week. You watch the hippy-dippy weatherman, and then you follow him through to his later career where he was very, very politically pointed and yet still funny. It's interesting to watch his career move along. And since we're not supposed to laugh at Bill Cosby anymore, he used to be my favorite comedian, but we can't laugh at him anymore, I may have bumped Carlin up to my absolute favorite. Anyways, every Friday, the Friday Funnies, late night comedy from the late night hosts, and a little bit of stand-up comedy just to head you into the weekend with a bit of funnies. We also have some entertainment news for you right now.
ABC Entertainment News.
It's time for the after party.
Any one of you could be the murderer.
Tiffany Haddish stars as a detective trying to solve a murder at a high school reunion after party, and she tells me she loves murder mysteries because, as a woman, she's always trying to figure out what's going on.
Who is it? What is it? We always investigating, especially our men, and children, and family members, and coworkers. That's me.
The after party boasts a killer cast, including Haddish, Dave Franco, Alana Glazer, Ike Barinholtz, Sam Richardson, Ben Schwartz, and more. 3 episodes out today on Apple TV+. Also out today,
Someone has been murdered.
another murder mystery comedy. Netflix's The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window, starring Kristen Bell. And tonight on Lifetime and A&E, it's the new Janet Jackson docuseries. A couple of shows cut at Showtime, the Don Cheadle comedy Black Monday, and Lily Wachowski's Work in Progress. And NSYNC's Joey Fatone is 45 today. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
A couple other entertainment tidbits I want to pass along to you. If you are a fan of the Lee Childs series, Lee Childs is the author, Jack Reacher, and he's got 23 Jack Reacher books. I have read them all. I know, because I keep trying to find a new one. There's no new ones to read. Reacher is a retired army guy who just wanders the countryside and gets into trouble. It's one of those kind of things. I love the Reacher. I just love the Reacher stories. And Tom Cruise made 2 Jack Reacher movies a number of years ago, and I watched them. I was like, yeah, Jack Reacher is like a 6'2", 250-pound, almost Frankenstein monster. He's not Tom Cruise. Not Tom Cruise. But HBO Max is beginning next week doing a Jack Reacher series, a weekly series. And I don't know who the actor's name is. I apologize. But he actually looks like Reacher. He's a big guy, big muscles, and kind of looks like he could, knock people out. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that immensely. That's on my calendar to look for on February the 4th. And then all the way down to September, I've got the Lord of the Rings series. I think that's also on HBO, come to think of it. And I am so looking forward to that. I am a gigantic Lord of the Rings fan. Back in my junior high school days, I used to read the Lord of the Rings, the entire trilogy, every year. Once a year, I'd read that entire trilogy. I just absolutely loved it. And the movies, the Lord of the Rings movies, were absolutely tremendous. And now they're going to do a series on it, and it looks really good. So I've got that marked on my calendar for September as well. Some other entertainment news. People magazine yesterday confirmed that the ABC TV show The View is going to welcome a couple of their old stars back. Meredith Vieira, Star Jones, Elizabeth Hasselbeck will be back to the round table to guest host The View this summer. The 3 women are among the show's longest-running co-hosts. They're making their return on separate dates. They won't all be together, but they'll be there one by one throughout the month of February to celebrate The View's 25th season. E! Entertainment revealed the full list of A-list celebrity guests who are going to be on the NBC tribute to Betty White coming up next Thursday. Among the folks who will be there, President Joe Biden, Drew Barrymore, Valerie Bertinelli, Cher, Ellen DeGeneres, Jimmy Fallon, Tina Fey, Tracy Morgan, Goldie Hawn, Ted Danson, Jay Leno, Joel McHale, Gene Smart. I love Gene Smart. Mary Steenburgen. They'll all be on celebrating Betty White, America's Golden Girl. I said Thursday. I'm sorry. They released the information on Thursday. The show will be this coming Monday on NBC. And finally, some salacious celebrity gossip this morning here on our entertainment report.
It's your salacious celebrity scoop. Lauren Moraski dishes out this week's tabloid news.
The tabloids are out, and here's what you need to know. The Kelly Clarkson and Brandon Blackstock split continues to drum up tabloid fodder. Us Weekly says Kelly's prepared to fight for what she wants in the divorce, and that she's devoting 100% of her free time to prepping with her attorney for the trial. Meanwhile, Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra recently announced that they're parents to a baby girl, and an insider tells Us Weekly that the new family addition has definitely brought them much closer. The source claims the couple would love to have 2 or 3 children. No confirmation to that part. Over at In Touch Weekly, there's a status update on Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles. Things have been a little tricky with Harry's tour and Olivia's projects, timing-wise, but apparently the couple is still going strong and are trying to keep their relationship low-key. And finally, a source tells Us Weekly that Alex Rodriguez is looking to find love again after his breakup with Jennifer Lopez. A source tells the magazine that he's single and having fun, but does want to settle down eventually. That's your salacious celebrity scoop. We'll catch you next week after we dig through the tabloid trash.
And that's the morning entertainment report, plus our Friday funnies. Try and give you a little lighter side of life as we head into the weekend. McCabe and I will have the Friday roundtable coming up next hour. I think we'll talk about the state of the state a bit. I wonder what he thought about Baby Dog's butt last night. We'll talk about what's going on in the legislature. A couple of the local stories here in the Upper Ohio Valley. All of that coming up next hour. Also, I want to take a minute or two to talk about a Tennessee school district that has banned a Pulitzer Prize-winning book on the Holocaust. It's interesting, the attention to this was focused yesterday, which was Holocaust Remembrance Day, and it just seems to me that, I don't know, we are trying so hard to just redact history. I mean, how can you... I'll talk about it coming up next hour. Right now, we're going to head over to the newsroom. ABC's got lots of information for us. Then I'll talk a bit about the Holocaust story. McCabe and I will kick things around. We'll check in with Bob from the Big Seven, the tail end of the show. And then Hoppy at 10:06 begins with Governor Justice, talking about baby dog's butt. Let's see if Hoppy dares to ask him if he thinks baby dog's butt was really something the greatest governor would do. It's all coming up as the Watchdog Morning Show continues for this Friday.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
From 8. All right, more coffee, Biff, and then I'll be back. Thanks.